Hello everyone, Jaime Montilla here, and in this video I'm going to show you how I build this Pomodoro timer. Okay, I'm just going to make myself smaller here, but pretty much what I try to do is replicate here this Pomodoro timer that I have in my desk. It has 60, 35, and 15 minutes. Turn it on, and then I put it on the desk, and then it starts counting down the time. That way I can time box a focus time that I want on a task that I'm building or in a task that I'm doing. So that's when I don't want any distractions and I just want to go all in on time. Sometimes we feel that a long time has passed, but in reality, that's not the case. So it is good to have a timer. That way, whenever the alarm goes, then it's done. So pretty much is this. I hard coded to 5 seconds because I wouldn't want to wait 5 minutes here for it to blink. But it has a beep, so I know when it finished, and then there is the blinking for you to let know that that you're ready either to take a break or go on to the next task. Okay, I'm going to show you pretty much the step-by-step that I follow in order for me to build apps without writing any code. Again, this is all leveraging AI. I start normally with ChatGPT. So in ChatGPT, I'm just showing you old chats that I have, and they even have typos and everything, and I get pretty much what I need. This is a very simple prompt. I have other prompts that I can show you, but in this case, it's like you can say you are a Python expert and you specialize in Streamlit to build the best apps in the world. Your task is to write a list of cool applications that are needed in today's market and that solve real problems. Okay, this is again high level ideas that you can get: content ideation of SEO assistant, personal productivity dashboard, property management analyzer, bug tracking tool, freelancer project estimation calculator. Again, it's up to you. In this case, I already knew what I wanted to build, so I went into into Claude, which is the next step. And in Claude, I told you, you're a Python engineer and your task is to build an app using Python and Streamlit. Please use a solid coding standard to keep code organized and build unit tests to make sure that everything works as expected. Here's the app idea that I want to build. So it's a Pomodoro timer with 5 count intervals: 5, 15, 30, and 45. A custom one where you can select the timer. When a timer gets to 0, make it screen flash and beep for 10 seconds. Okay. It also asks, again, I kind of repeat myself to say, hey, this is a Python, this is a Streamlit. I want instructions for each of the files. I want comments, unit test, a README, and then a mockup for the app. And this is the last sentence, which is please keep it simple. I don't want like a lot of code or anything like that. But you will see what I'm talking about here. It is pretty much going to give you the structure of the code, right? So it tells you how to organize it. And then I can show you here, probably side by side. A second. Oops. Give me 1 second here. Just gonna put it here side by side. So you can see the structure. It may not be as exact now, given that there are some changes that have happened throughout the whole file. But it normally starts with the source, which has this init py or Python files, app, sound manager, timer. So timer, notifications, and app. It'll change a little bit on the next prompts, but I'm just gonna go through them high level. Now, as far as for tests, then you have the sound manager, test timer, test notifications. In this case, I have test sound manager, test timer, the README. So you have the instructions of the timer. Then you have the requirements that txt, which is where you have the dependencies. And I can just, show you high level that way. I don't want to take too long on these videos. Again, you will find everything on my community on the link below. But here you will see that it gives you everything. It gives you an explanation of the components, of the design. I think this one matches probably. Yeah, sound manager. So this one, which is the other prompt that I created after that. So you have the timer, you have the sound manager, you have the app, and then test timer and sound manager. Yep, test timer, sound manager. That's the unit test. And then it gives you the logic for every single file. All you have to do is copy paste. Sometimes you have to be careful because it gives you sometimes a file with multiple sections. So this one has a project structure, then you have the timer, and then you have the notifications. So sometimes you just have to look at it and see where the code is and where you have to paste it. Okay. So just give me a second here. Again, if I keep scrolling down, I'm just kind of pointing some things that have happened here. So split rewrite the code for the files that are missing. In this case, sometimes Claude doesn't finish what it's doing. Like it gives you, let's say if it gives you a long structure, it gives you some core files for you to be able to test, but then you will have to tell it, hey, write the code for the rest of the files. So that's what happened there. And it gives you the instructions again. Then here I wanted like an executable file, because I normally, when you run the code locally, you run these 3 lines in order for you to be able to create a virtual environment and then to be able to run the code. So I was just asking in that to create like a bat file to be able to run the instructions. Here I was testing and it says timer selection is not displaying correctly. So here it gave me the update of the file. Okay. The timing is not decreasing the count. So this is like, if you're a software tester, this actually would help you not only build apps, but also exercise your skills as a software tester to be able to test the app. This would be considered black box testing. In this case, you would have both, like white box and black box. White box is like when you have access to the code and you test kind of with having access to the code. In this case, you would have both. But even if you don't have understanding about the code, you will be able to do what is called or known as black box testing, which is when you don't have access to the code, but you're able to test the functionality without looking pretty much behind the scenes. So if you have something in mind or you have some features and you're able to test it in the UI and pretty much is working as expected, you can fairly assume that the code is written correctly. It doesn't mean that it's the perfect code or it was structured correctly and maybe it's not the cleanest. But again, if it's working in the front end, it is easy to assume that everything that was written is working as expected as well. Okay, that's why you run unit tests. That's why you have edge cases to be able to test different sides of the functionality and other things like that. But again, for these type of apps where you're trying to build like a POC or more of they call it, it's a POC is a proof of concept, or an MVP, which is a minimal viable product, to be able to test whatever you want to build, either for a small audience or even for an app in a marketplace like Google Play. You can start with something small and then you can actually rewrite it and hire somebody that help you kind of redefine what you created as an MVP. But in this case, you will be saving a lot of money because you don't have to hire anybody. Just AI is giving you pretty much what you need, and then anybody can just test it because you will be able to deploy it. Okay. So again, this is more high level. What I did for this specific app here in the app PY, you can see that I changed these from 300. 300 is the 5-minute mark, but I changed it to 5 in order for us to be able to see it working. But I'm just going to change that back to what it's supposed to. Here you can see there's some errors. So whenever you get an error in the app, you simply copy and paste that error into Claude, and it's going to give you an explanation. So let's say in this case, the error is due to circular import issues. Let's fix it, and then it gives you the files that you need to update. The project structure again. PyTest is not finishing running. So I'm just going to show you here real quick the unit test. So in this case, I'm just going to do PyTest that would execute the test here under the test files. So you will see that both of them pass. So we're good on that front. It actually has assertions. That's something very important for unit test or test in general, to be able to assert for a certain functionality. So in this case, both pass. And if I want to bring it up, all you have to do is a Streamlit run source. In this case, source is this folder here, and then the app.py, which is where my Streamlit code is, and where everything is going to be running, the front end. If I do that, it is going to spin up again a browser. This one is 5 minutes, or actually 4 minutes. Wait a second. Actually, I have to save. And then if I refresh, I should do 5 minutes, right? So now it's 5 minutes. And you can select 15 minutes. You pause it, reset. So that's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, custom, you can select any amount, right? In this case, if you do 1 second, that's supposed to work. Actually, that's 1 minute. That's not even 1 minute. So again, we don't want to wait 1 minute here. Just going to do this again. So you pause it. I'm just going to change these to 5. I'm going to save. I'm going to reload. And there you have it. So it's 5 second mark. Gives you the timer and the beeping. And in this case, you have an app that is working. Okay. So that's pretty much it as far as this video. If you have any questions, let me know. But I will continue to build more videos of these. I have a backlog of items that I've been creating, testing, and actually adding documentation. Last time I created one for Magical Story Creator. This time is going to be for the Pomodoro Timer. Next time I'm just going to show you some of the apps that I have already built. And then in between, I'm going to create one from scratch. The video probably will be longer, probably 30 minutes to an hour, just for simple apps. That way, you know, hey, from beginning to end, you know, the prompting, how I kind of go through things, how I think of solving issues, or just kind of brainstorming in general. That way, you know, kind of having like an over the shoulder experience as to how I do things. That way you can actually use them for your reference and to be able to build your own apps. Okay. So with that said, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thank you.